What's up, guys? It's Gardy B with the Jenkins Jonez show. As always, I'm here with my good internet buddies, Dragonfly Jones, a.k.a. Tyler.
What's up, guys?
Jethro Jenkins, a.k.a. John.
What's up, bubbas? And if you fuck with us, you want to see more of our content, please jump on YouTube and subscribe to our channel.
Chauncey Billups had the following to say about Kyrie Irving. He's must-see TV. I personally think, as someone that played the position, I think Kyrie's the most skilled player that's ever played at point guard. Just straight skill, nothing else, just straight skill. I think he's the best I've ever seen at that position, skill-wise. Do you agree with Chauncey Billups that Kyrie Irving is the most skilled point guard of all time? John, you go first.
Yeah. I think point guard, I think he's the second most skilled NBA player I've ever seen. I think Kobe Bryant's the most skilled player I've ever seen. I don't know what them niggas was doing in the 70s. I was not a thought yet. You feel me? I've seen tape, but well, Kyrie, there's nothing in the world that Kyrie can't do with a basketball. You know what I mean? And so, like, I don't think he's the best point guard. I think, obviously, you know, Steph is a better point guard, you know what I mean? And Zeke and Magic, you know what I mean? But as far as skill alone, there's nothing on the planet he can't do with a basketball. I mean, his feet are incredible. I don't think it's that big of a. I don't think that's a hot take, honestly.
Tyler, what do you think?
He's a hooper super. You know, this is basically what I was talking about that time when I had to fucking zip KD up when he came at me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, NBA players seem to really love Kyrie's game, and you know, it's worthy to be loved. He's a fucking phenomenal player. I think NBA players are enamored with him because he does the impossible, and basketball players have. You know, if a basketball player sees a basketball player do something they can't do, there's a certain level of respect there for him, right? I think for sure he's the best dribbler we've ever seen. You know, his shot creation, the way he can get to his spots, the way he can finish in traffic are ridiculous. But I got to say, if you're talking about like most skilled player, and this player is a point guard, I think he's got to be a spectacular passer too. And I don't think Kyrie's spectacular at passing. I think he's good at it, maybe even really good at it, but I don't think he's a spectacular passer, bro. I think you got to be that.
I think he's good enough at other things. I don't think we define point guards by passing as much anymore. I think the point guard position has changed. I think, you know, with his ability to score kind of makes up for that. You know, and he's still a great passer, but also look at how he finishes at the rim. This motherfucker will disappear in the fucking trees, in the forest, nigga, come out with a bucket. Because he can finish in so many fucking ways. Who has a better layup package we've ever seen? So we're talking about the best handler, one of the best, you know, shot makers, and one of the best finishers ever. And we just gonna lean on passing isn't spectacular. So he's, you know, I mean, there's a lot there that he already has that I think can make up for the passing. You know what I'm saying? I get your point 1,000%, but that's a more traditional way of looking at the point guard. I think now the point guard is a little different than it's much bigger than just a good passer. You know what I mean? So I mean, I think it's important. Obviously, he runs the offense well. But he's a scorer, dog. That motherfucker is a 2. He moved over to that position very easily. You know what I mean? So
I mean, yeah, and I think that's Tyler's right. First of all, about being a hooper's hooper, and I'm a total nerd about shit like this. But if you listen to stand-up comedians talk about Dave Chappelle or about Mitch Hedberg or whoever, they don't talk about the stuff that we talk about. They talk about being blown away by stuff that would never occur to someone who's not a like top level stand-up comedian. They'll talk about where his eyes are, you know what I mean? Like in the middle of a delivery or some shit like that. And I think it's a similar thing with Kyrie. I'm not good enough at basketball probably to fully understand the shit he's doing that a Chauncey Billups could see him do and go, oh, I could never do that if I practiced it. And I was Chauncey Billups. So, I think there is that level of appreciation. The only thing I don't like about this aspect of basketball dialogue that I feel like has increased enormously over the last few years is, when did we create this definition of skilled as being so different from productivity or talent level or whatever else? Is what Steph does as a point guard that no one else can do, that's not a skill?
Because he has a skill. Definitely a skill.
But because he has like a certain like gift for, you know, hand-eye coordination, timing, shooting, is what John Morant does is not skill because he's athletic. Like, you know what I mean? I just don't really like this separation of specifically the things you learn in drills are skills, and everything else is like talent or gifts. I just don't really like it. I don't like it when people talk about Bron that way. You know, like bag Twitter loves to go after Bron. Like it just doesn't make sense to me as a way to like split up basketball into these little slices.
I think all those people are people that are the most skilled players we've, you know, in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? I think Steph is extremely skilled. I think Ja is extremely skilled. You know what I'm saying? I think, you know, obviously Bron is too. Like, I don't think those people aren't skilled players. You know what I'm saying? I think what makes Ja good is not his athletic ability, it's his skills. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to Steph and Kyrie, I just think Kyrie is more skilled in certain areas. You know what I'm saying? That's all. And we're talking about, and I think this difference between Ja and Kyrie is when I look at their game, I don't think like they were in the gym banging the fucking ball doing drills. You know, they got good at playing basketball by playing basketball. Because, you know what I'm saying? I think they got good at playing back. They got their reps in playing the game. That's what it looks like to me. You know what I'm saying? So, but I still think they're, obviously very skilled players.
I mean, going back to what Mike said, like, you know, Steph, for instance, he's the best combination of handles and shooting we've ever seen in our lives. You know what I mean? So, you know, he's not the dribbler Kyrie is, but he's leaps better at shooting. You know what I'm saying? So how do we gauge that? How do we gauge who's more skilled there? You know what I'm saying? Because the dribbling gap is smaller and the shooting gap is huge. So
I don't think the dribbling gap is small, bro. I think Kyrie's the best handler.
But the shooting gap between Steph and any other point guard is bigger than any other gap.
Steph and anybody, other than like Clay. Him and Clay are the two people that are probably, you know what I mean? But yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's something to say there. I'll give you that for sure. A lot of this shit is opinion based. It's based on, you know,
more than a lot of it.
All of it. You know what I'm saying?
Because how do you compare the skills of Magic Johnson to the skills of Zeke to the skills of Steph to the skills of Kyrie? I mean, there's just you just can't really do it.
To me, Magic was just his creativity. I think he was a brilliant mind. That's what made him so. Also, his size helped for sure. He was a brilliant mind. But when you look at Magic handles, he was backing down motherfuckers on some Gary Payton shit. He had his back to the basket a lot. He wasn't just crossing niggas up. He used his body real well.
But that's a skill as well.
That's a skill as well.
But that's my point. I just don't like the ability to be 6'8" and run very fast and make quick decisions and pass well. That's a skill. Like, I know that you don't like practice your way to 6'8", but how are you determining? You know what Kevin Durant does is more skilled at 7 foot because he's 7 foot. It doesn't take away from the work he put in or whatever. It's just your body is literally who you are. So separating it from your skill or your talent or whatever, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Like, it feels like a Bob Cousy argument. You know what I mean? It's like, look, I know he only shot 10%, but he's really skilled. Like, you could really see.
He would slide on his knees mid-game. The wizard! You know what I mean? Like, bro, all right, my nigga, keep all of that. You know, he didn't have a left. Cut the left hand off. He's still the same fucking player. You know what I mean? But no, I get what y'all are saying. I'm saying, from me looking at the game, when I break it down, I think Kyrie, second most skilled player I've ever seen, period. I've ever seen. I think Kobe, like, what he could do, like, with a basketball, like, there was not a single thing he couldn't do. So I think he's the most, and I think also Kobe's footwork. Like, whether it was, you know, in the pivot, you know, or out, you know what I'm saying, out in the, you know, I just don't.
I feel you. I know what you're saying, for sure.
You know, I
know what Chauncey's saying too. I'm not really even disagreeing particularly. Yeah. I mean, it's just, I think from the perspective he's coming from, yes, like, you know,
but also,
I get it.
Like, let them argue that. No, that's not what you're trying to say. We don't.
No, I think the thing is, I think it's an interesting discussion. I just think it is like, we've changed the way we think about basketball and positions and skill and like, everything's changed so much over the course of certainly the history of the game, but I feel like even over the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. And you know what I was going to bring up with Ja, it's great to have these young players that are so exciting, and that you said that you feel like you could be so excited about for a long time. Because I saw this stat, I think Tyler retweeted this last night, that 2009, 2010, the two leading scorers are Bron and KD. 2021-22, the leading scorers are KD and Bron, and you're like, ooh, that has a little bit of a mothball smell to it, that graphic. You know what I mean? Like,
I thought it was beautiful. You think it tastes bad? Well, I thought that was fire. And I think that talks about how skilled Bron is too, because he's definitely not the same athlete he was at that time period. You know what I'm saying?